Dear Singaporeans, the purpose of this video is to let everyone know my troublemaker neighbor make use of the town council and other government agency to abuse their authority against innocent residents. He claimed that he has backup from my area MP Mr. Shamugan. Now I'm seeking for justice and equality. The story begins with this. I bought this flat 2 years ago from the previous owner Mr. Sanin, who experienced similar encounters with the neighbor staying at the corner unit, who occupied his potted plants and encroached into my vicinity. I heard from the previous owner that this neighbor is unreasonable, troublemaker, and it's very difficult to communicate with him. Therefore, I seek help from the Nee Town Council so that he can move his potted plants away from my vicinity. When the town council advised him to remove his plant, he hold grudges against me and smashed my window when I was not around. Therefore, I lodged a police report against him on that day. My police case number is F/2013-1129/2184. Therefore, I was advised by police to install 2 CCTV to monitor my corridor to prevent him from vandalizing my property. The cameras were positioned to face my own unit. One of the cameras was facing my side window and door. The other one was positioned to monitor my side window, which was smashed by the troublemaker neighbor. Due to the presence of the CCTV, he couldn't harass me. Therefore, he wanted to sabotage my camera by burning with a big joystick. He hid behind a blind spot to smash my camera with a hammer subsequently. He was charged and fined $1,000 by the state court. However, he was unremorseful and purposely showed me a cocky face, implying that he has a secret connection with the Nee Soon GRC MP. This is the video evidence of my barbaric neighbor who thinks he's above law and smashed my CCTV camera behind the blind spot without knowing the camera was functioning despite it was damaged. He claimed that the MPs in Nee Soon GRC will cover him for his antics. After he smashed my CCTV, I brought this matter to court and he was convicted. However, he made use of his secret connection with the MP and requested to mitigate to reduce his compensation to me. This is the letter sent to my lawyer. Mr. Koh Wei Lee came to see me. He says that according to the police investigation, the damages cost $500 CCTV camera. He is prepared to pay $1,000 for the damages alone. Mr. Koh says that he is not responsible for the window panels damage and is thus not prepared to pay for the damages. Please facilitate the amicable settlement between the two neighbors. K. Shamugan, MP for Nee Soon GRC. Why the MP can represent a criminal and help him to reduce the compensation amount instead of citing me as I was the victim? Is there any justice and equality? He was stalking me and my wife when we leave and return from work. Each time, he will show us his middle finger to intimidate us and challenge me to a fight. He also threatened to kill my family in the lift, which was recorded by the lift CCTV. My police report case number was F 2140612/2209. He left the burner close to my side window instead of his own area, and purposely left the burner unattended to create fire hazard on my unit. He also burned incense paper without the burner. To prove that, can you see the burn mark on the floor? He did all this was to seek revenge for his previous offences. After this incident, Nee Soon Town Council Senior Property Manager Mr. Loh Ah Poon instructed his men and forced me to remove my camera by sending me a lot of warning letters and also fine me. In contrast, my neighbor was allowed to install his camera pointing at my unit without any valid reason. In fact, he was the offender. This was my camera, which was monitoring my own window. On the other hand, his camera can oversee the whole stretch of the corridor that can see the rest of the 8 units. My cameras were to prevent him from damaging my properties and personal safety. In contrast, his camera was to capture any confrontation and challenge me to a fight in order to frame me or get me into trouble. Throughout these years, I was forced to remove my camera without any protection and not able to collect evidence against him. Instead, Loh Ah Poon turned a blind eye on his camera and didn't send him any warning letters or fines. And yet, he had seen installed for more than a year. Let's compare the double standard of my case with other residents under Nee Soon Town Council policy. Now, I'm going to expose the double standard practice of Nee Soon Town Council in charge by Senior Property Manager Mr. Loh Ah Poon. This unit at Block 161 Level 6 belongs to Nee Soon grassroots member. Why Loh Ah Poon authorized this add-on feature on the HDB ceiling and approved to let this grassroots member to install 4 cameras without any incident occurrence related to crimes or any other valid reasons. This is another unit at Block 161 who is a grassroots member. He is able to install the CCTV without valid reason due to crimes, and Town Council had given them approval. This is another resident in my block who is also a grassroots member. He is able to install his light at the corridor similar to my unit due to the darkness of the corridor. On the other hand, I was told that I was not allowed to install the light even on my window, as my corridor is very dark at night. They have since forced me to remove my cameras. I had no choice but to install inside my unit to monitor my corridor in order to prevent any further vandalism from my barbarian neighbor, Mr. Coeli. Throughout these years, this barbarian neighbor, Coeli, instructed Mr. Loa Pun to use his authority and send his men to come and harass me on numerous occasions. How can my neighbor instruct them and make use of their authority to suppress me? These are the officers. Senior Property Officer Mr. Andrew Sia, Property Officer Mr. Muhammad Zulkainir, same officer. HDB Higher Estate Executive Mr. David Ang, possible RC member Community Police Supervisor John, as you can see, the corrupted practice of civil servant in Nee Soon Town Council, Mr. Loa Pun, has shown that our MP failed to keep check on their staff standard of performance and integrity. Therefore, they are wasting taxpayer money and abuse the system against residents of Singapore. In short, our MP should replace them with somebody who have higher integrity. All previous cases related to the barbarian neighbor and my correspondence to the various agencies had been swept under the carpet because they purposely refused to answer the double standard practice by saying repeatedly that it was unproductive to continue in that protracted debate, and therefore all of my questions were not answered. I had no choice but to call them down and to speak to them directly to see how the corrupted officers avoid answering my question by acting mute and try to run away by giving me excuses to leave without fulfilling their promises to install the corridor light and my CCTV request. Listen carefully to this town council officer said in the video. He promised my wife that he will install a corridor light and I have to remove my LED light at the window. However, during his second visit, he acted mute and pretended that he was unaware of the matter and gave excuses to walk away without answering my question. In other words, he was giving empty promises using his word without black and white.
那您放个水果，您这一些，我都会放在那边，这不可以放，这人家走过去烧人。可是你是到那边来打不坏我们的家，你是到那里你不走不通。我知道，好，现在。我们不可能浪费钱嘛，这个东西放上桌。那个不可以拆哦，那个地给我拆掉哦，哎，这东西一定要拆掉哦。现在HDB会叫你拆掉哦，这是可以。不可以。 我们可以穿，这是我们的家。如果现在有人来到我们的家，我们看不到你吗？你来等我们。没有，你看不到。你要我装个灯在这边吗？我可以装一个灯在这边。你如果觉得很暗，我可以装一个金灯在那边照下来，你要吗？这个不用。哦，这个那你就可以叫你拆。如果你要拆，我现在可以帮你拆。如果你觉得这个电很暗，我可以装多一盏灯给你，你要吗？ 那屋主要我可以装一盏灯在这边。啊，你跟他讲，你问他，如果要我就多盏灯。好，我明天会再下来，我再问你多一次。好，行，来这个角色你放过。你对了，买3个都不，你大概拿出on one side。 My letter received from town council 2 years back said that you will ensure that he comply that he remove all his drugs away from my facility. I have a proof to show you if you want to see. Okay? Can you tell me why until now, 2 years already, he did not comply? Explain this to me now. Your office, I see that for 2 years, nobody answered this direct question. Okay, never mind. Act new, act blur again. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you, my wife is to remove his glove so that I can put my glove on also one side only. Okay? Because we want never mind. One side. Later I'll bring you up and see the rest of the residents, see how they place their glove. Okay? So last time my CCTV was placed down here, I already removed. He complained that my CCTV is actually punching him, so that when he walk past, it's okay, he feel very uncomfortable. That time now my LED light down here because at night you can see the LED. My LED light, okay, is actually motion sensor. It's pointing at my own unit. It's not pointing at him at all. Some more, I need the LED light. You feel that only shine for 5 seconds. I can install and okay, the one I will come to that later. Okay, come there later. You won't fall details. Okay, the LED light, okay, will only show for 5 seconds. Unless he's trying to loiter outside my area, it's not that he don't want to complain. Because he's not standing down here, let the light shine at him for more than 5 seconds. Okay, next you said my LED light cannot mount down here. This one is mount where? Can you tell me? Answer the question now. It's mount where? Is it handy now? Where is my LED light now? Is it under your purview? No, this one is it under the corridor? This is not under my purview. Okay, this is my house, this is my window, this is my property. I have the right to knock anything down here. Okay? 他刚刚没有讲了，现在讲这个表示我给他。买了高点，买了这个欧里上again. So this one is separate issue. Separate issue. Okay, never mind. Make sure I don't receive any letter from you. Okay, 你是我一直立的。OK， 这个我也是讲过了的。This one belongs to my property. I'm mounting on my window. As I said, even when he walks past. He's not going to stand down here for more than 5 seconds. This one the light will go off. So you will no ground to complain. Okay? And then this one is not like super bright floodlight. This is just normal LED light that you can mount on the cabinet. Okay? So now I bring up bring down to see what are the installations the people done last year. You said that my this LED light not approved. Okay, now we go down. I think we go and walk around.
The daughter harassed us by peeping into my unit many times throughout these years and behaved suspiciously and loitered outside my unit, invading my privacy. She also brought along RC member to take photos of my unit when we were asleep using flashlight. Furthermore, their tenant also stole my personal things, which I placed at the door at night. Her eldest daughter, Christine Kong, claimed that their family has backup and protection from MP Lee Bi Hua, shown in her Facebook that she will ensure that my flat will be confiscated if I do not comply. My question is, no one is above law. How can the MP claim that she can abuse her authority to confiscate my flat without proper investigation based on their word of mouth? I was stopped by the barbarian neighbor Koh Wei Lee last year September near the lift landing. He purposely challenged me to a fight, but I managed to avoid him by going down the staircase. However, he chased after me and fell when he lost his balance, but I was unaware. My wife was also having similar encounters like me. He stalked my wife to her workplace to create nuisance and also follow her to the lift and assault her. The whole incident was captured by the lift CCTV. Because of this, my wife was injured and the ambulance was called to send her to the hospital for medical examination. We lodged a police report against him. However, all the previous related cases linked to this neighbor had been completely ignored and swept under the carpet. And this neighbor get away scot-free again without any charges pressed against him. Dear Singaporean, I had no choice because all my reports against this barbarian neighbor had been covered by the corrupted officer who were in charge of my cases. Therefore, I had to expose them online to seek for justice and equality. I hope fellow Singaporeans who have similar encounters to step forward to voice out on your grievances, as we cannot condone to this corrupted practice in our first world country.